So many people write to me about how to move forward after a breakup. They say they feel awful and they wonder if they've made a huge mistake ending things with their partners or feel confident that they did the right thing, but are still swirling about in a sea of desperation and insecurity about what comes next. They say they love themselves enough to know that they deserve better. They really do. And that the healthy relationship they want is definitely out there. It is. And I know they mean it. And then they tell me they're either thinking about going back to the relationship that they finally mustered up the courage to leave. After all, it wasn't so bad, right? I mean, in the beginning, things were great. Or they're on the edge. They're teetering. They're questioning themselves. They're not sure how they're going to go on. They say they've done all the right things to love themselves through it, like all the experts say to do. They've started to eat right and exercise, and they've spent time with good friends, and they've pampered themselves and splurged on things like massages and facials and all sorts of stuff to feel good. And they even took up or went back to hobbies they'd long left behind because their significant others either occupied too much of their time or frowned on these hobbies. But now, well, they love themselves and they deserve it. And yet, all that self-love just isn't still doing it. They're still smarting and confused and unsure, and they still think that maybe they've made a mistake or wonder if their exes will take them back if at some point they really change their minds. They can't seem to remember the bad in quite the way that it was or the reasons why they let go and question whether things were so bad after all. They think maybe I'll join a convent, or maybe my mother was right. I should just take what I can get and be happy for it. Or maybe I'm just destined to be alone. They start to second guess themselves and blame it as a self-love fail. Okay, so let's look at this more closely because we talk a lot about self-love these days, but what does that really mean? Is it really about getting a massage or joining a book club or taking a weekend getaway with the girls? And listen, I love doing all of these things and I would never tell you not to. But that is not self-love, my friends. It's self-care. And while it's an absolutely important and integral part of self-love, it is not the meat on the plate. Because self-love has you spend less time indulging yourself on the outside and more time exploring yourself on the inside so you can figure out why you make the choices you do in love and relationship. And usually it comes down to what we believe about ourselves. So what's possible for us and what we deserve. And once you figure out those beliefs that are keeping you stuck, and trust me, we all have them. The ones that tell us we shouldn't, we can't, we don't deserve, we'll never have. The ones that tell us to settle and never take a risk on ourselves. We can change them. And that's when we can find the courage and the confidence and the sense of safety that we need to let go, really let go of what's not serving us and forge ahead. Whether that's an ex or a current relationship or a past relationship or a decision you've already made or a possibility or a fear or mindset or other people's voices in your head. Revising our inner narrative in an empowering way that tells us that we can and we should and we're worthy and that what we want is waiting for us is self-love. So when the questions in the face of letting go come, the ones that say, what if I made the biggest mistake of my life? And what if there isn't another way forward? And what if I wind up in a convent? And what if I don't ever find what I'm looking for? And here I've given up the something that's better than nothing. What if my ex moves on and I don't? What if I'm the single aunt at everybody's holiday table into perpetuity with tissue stuffed in my sleeve and hard candies in my purse? What if I'm really a hologram? Okay, these questions are a normal part of change as we prepare ourselves for the uncertainty of what's coming next. It's us working it out. Because letting go of a relationship or anything of value comes with all kinds of uncertainty and emotions, and there are no guarantees. But self-love tells us that not knowing what comes next is no reason to stay with what's not doing it for us right now, or hold on to what was. Self-love tells you to take the reins and cut the cords to people, places, and things now and in the past that you're still holding on to without looking back or second guessing yourself. Self-love tells you to give life your very best shot. Let go to fully create space for all the magical things that are meant for you, because you know for sure, even if you can't actually see them at the intersection of this particular crossroads, you know they're out there and that you deserve them. This is the difference between self-love and self-care. Self-love. I know this hurts and it's hard, but as my girl Glennon Doyle says, we can do hard things. And as I say, heartbreak is not a life sentence. Self-love tells us to use the time spent snotty and on the sofa surrounded by empty pizza and tissue boxes productively, to look back at our role in whatever we've just left behind and ask ourselves, once we get past the whole hologram question, why we chose it, and then look forward and ask how we can choose and do better the next time. That's self-love. Self-care is this hurts and it's hard, and I'm going to get a manicure and see where I'm at after. Again, I love a manicure and I really need one, but it's not going to help you stay true to yourself. Self-love is I have no idea why this person acted the way they did, didn't give me what I wanted, or didn't treat me the way I deserved. But instead of spending time armchair diagnosing them for the reasons, I'm going to do my own work. And I'm going to ask myself with honesty and compassion and zero judgment why I chose them, why I stayed, and how I can let go and move forward and do better the next time. Self-care is I have no idea why this person did what they did, so I'm going to hold court with my friends. They'll know. They'll make me feel better. They'll tell me what to do, or if I'm overreacting, they'll help me be honest with myself and, maybe I'm missing something. Self-love is I know that just was not right for me, but I chose it because I thought it was the best I could get. But I know better now and I can do better. And instead of being afraid to say what I want out loud for fear that I'll never find it or be worthy of it, I'm going to act boldly and claim it. Because I know I don't have to be perfect to be loved or have what I really want. And if someone doesn't want what I do, that's okay. I'll just wish them well and keep on trucking. Self-care is I'm going to take better care of myself, lose weight, get a dog, meditate, and do what I have to do to be most appealing to another person. Because life is meant to be shared. And sure, I'll feel better if I do these things for myself, which is wonderful, but it's not the main reason I'm doing it. Self-love is I'm not afraid to let go because I know no matter what happens, I'll always be okay because I've got my own back. Self-care. I'm afraid to let go, but a massage will help, or maybe I'll plan a vacation. That will help me figure out what to do, even though I know what to do, but I'm afraid. Do you see where I'm going here? There is a huge difference between self-love and self-care. And frankly, you need both to have the happy, healthy love you want with yourself and another person. I've been stuck in love and in heartbreak, and while it was always lovely to get a day at the spa and a night out with the girls, it was the self-examination that I did in the mirror that ultimately led me to reinvention and reclamation, that moved me forward, that got me where I wanted to go next in the best of ways, that allowed me to let go fully. So what do you think about what I'm saying? If you see yourself in any of this and you're interested in learning more about how you can use self-care and self-love to forge ahead, I've got something for you. It'll show you really the one thing you need to have a healthy and happy relationship with yourself and another person. So click the link below to learn more.